All right, we're talking about alimentation, Couche-Tard today. Yesterday's stock dropped 12, 13%, somewhere around there, as or it came out that they were in talks to buy this Carrefour. And Carrefour is primarily in France, but different countries in Europe and in Brazil. Not quite the same, but a lot of similarities. So, Couche-Tard is primarily a convenience store, like gas station stop, fill up your gas, go into the store, grab coffee, snacks, whatever, that kind of thing. Either in the highway or in the city. There's one around the corner here from me, and it's been a great company, really high quality Canadian company. $33 billion market cap, and actually that's in US dollars because they report in US dollars. So, anyways, it's a US dollar market cap of 33 billion. Also 10 billion in debt, so enterprise value is 43 billion. Owned this thing for like 10 years, just really consistent, really good returns, right in the mid-teens. And now they're buying this Carrefour, and the acquirer typically does drop, and that makes it's just the way it is. That makes sense. And so now is it a buy after the drop? And I think absolutely yes. And let's walk through it a little bit more. So let's just start with looking at Couche-Tard alone. Like, what does this look like? Or Alimentation, Couche-Tard, all on its own. So here's our profile. And you see the long-term, very consistent track record, always growing the business too. So here's the capital growth, and it's always growing. They did make lots of acquisitions over the years, integrated them really nicely, great rates of return, very consistent, undervalued. I mean, really, you really can't ask for much more. I think the dividend chart's actually very interesting on this, even though it's a very small dividend, but we compare it to the cash flow. And so the blue down here on the bottom one, you can't even see the dividend. It's so tiny, only 6.3% of their cash flow. But look at the cash flow, year in, year out, improving every year. And the top one is the blue, and it gets so compressed when you compare it to the cash flow. Like they probably could honestly increase their dividend, but they do make acquisitions, so maybe they want to keep their powder dry. So I'm okay with it. I prefer they paid a bit more dividend, but that's okay. That's not really the reason you buy it. You're buying it for high quality company and some decent growth. So let's maybe take a look at the Carrefour part of it in our model, and you'll see it's definitely not as good high return company as Alimentation. Decent profile. Here's the returns. You see in the early 2000s, really great returns. Kind of trickled down, kind of settled into this 6, 7, 8%. It's earning 8% right now. But this is more of a grocery store chain, and this is actually fairly typical for a grocery store. 7s and 8s. That's just what you get. It's not much, you just don't find grocery stores that are that much better. Now, they do have some convenience stores, much like Alimentation, but they also have these kind of bigger box. They call them hypermarket. And hypermarket, I don't know why they use this term in Europe, but this is what they do. And it's basically like a Costco. So they have a lot of Costco type stores in, like I said, primarily France, but in other countries around there, and in Brazil. So I think it's actually a pretty decent acquisition. They're also doing a bit of a leverage play here, because this company is quite levered. 11 billion market cap, that's in US dollars, and 24 billion in debt. So 11 billion and 24 billion in debt. So or 11 billion equity, 24 billion debt. That's quite a leverage. Okay, now, so Couche-Tard would buy the company, the 11 billion, but they would assume the debt. So basically the debt goes onto their balance sheet now. So in a way, it's kind of like a leverage buyout, right? In a way, because you're not buying all the company's assets, you're buying the company's equity and assuming the debt. So if that makes sense. Decent company, really, solid type name. It's actually got pretty good brand recognition where they are. This is a big acquisition. If you're, 30, let's call it 36 billion in enterprise value, and Couche-Tard is 46 billion. So this is a pretty big deal. This is not a small one. I'm willing to give Couche-Tard the benefit of the doubt, because they've done so many good acquisitions in the past. Why would I doubt them now? It's hard for me to know. I've never been into a Carrefour store. I got the financials. I went and looked at the Carrefour website. It looks like a solid grocery store. It looks like a lot like what we would have here. They took a position in Costco. They actually had shares in Costco and kind of modeled a lot of their stores after that. Like I said, they're a bit diversified. They don't just have hypermarket stores. They have supermarket stores, which is typical grocery store. They have the convenience stores, much like Couche-Tard. Couche-Tard also, there's so much to talk about on this one. I could go on all day, but I do think it's important to know Couche-Tard's branding. So Couche-Tard has been buying companies like Carrefour around the world and rebranding them into the Circle K, because the Circle K was kind of a strong brand. They kept the Couche-Tard, you see that in our graphic there in the upper left, the Couche-Tard owl stores. And that's in Quebec, though. Pretty much everywhere else you go in Canada, they're now Circle K. And then that Ingo is another brand that they kept, and I'm not too familiar with that one, but the Circle K is everywhere. And I know, I got one around the corner here, more than one. I'm right downtown Toronto, so they're all over the place. Also, when I go down to the States now, I see Circle K everywhere. So everything is branded that. Circle K in Europe as well. I've seen that even when I go over there. So what's the bottom line here? So, we've got a lot going here. As I said, Alimentation, number one, is just a really good company in and of itself. You're getting a great deal. You're getting a bit of a price break because of the acquisition and the way acquisitions work. The acquirer typically comes down. But over time, if they integrate it well, you usually do well. I think Carrefour is pretty decent. I don't think it's an amazing company. But I think they're paying a pretty good price. And if they can, tweak it even a little bit, squeeze out a bit more, maybe lend over their operational expertise, because it does seem like Alimentation operates a bit more efficiently. At least financially, it looks that way. And I'm going to give Alimentation the benefit of the doubt, because I think they've done such a good job with acquisitions. It's been such a good company, and it's been very rewarding to be a shareholder. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and getting it on a bit of a discount. We're recommending Alimentation at this level. Thanks for watching our investment video. If you want to improve your portfolio returns, simply subscribe. Or if you're an investment advisor or a retail investor and you want help with your portfolio more directly, we can help you with a managed account and manage each and every trade for you.